What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the episode of the Two Game Podcast. We are here to review the Penguin series, starting off with episode 1. And if episode 1 is indicative of what this series is going to be, boy, are we in for a fucking treat. I thought episode 1 was really great. Now, Colin Farrell does carry most of this episode, and Kristen Milotti, or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, she also carries every scene that she's in. Now, in the span of like 2 scenes, she becomes one of the most interesting characters, period. And I can't wait to see what they do with her throughout this season. She has like this gravitas behind her, and it almost looks like every scene she is struggling to not go apeshit on somebody, and it comes out in a lot of the facial acting that she has. She just commands every scene that she's in, even when Colin Farrell is sitting across from her. But on the flip side, Colin Farrell carrying the show so far. It's going to be interesting to see how much of the load he can carry for 8 episodes. I feel like I'm really going to love this storytelling of his rise as Penguin. Everyone sees him as weak, and they don't really give him a chance, and they're all talking shit to him. And to some degree, he believes that. Now, one thing that I found interesting about the episode, and something that when it initially happened, I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to really feel about that. It was when he took Victor under his wing. Now, they decided to change things up with him and not really just give him just some secondhand guy that is just run-of-the-mill. No, they give you Victor, who also has a little bit of a handicap. He stutters. He might be on the spectrum. So he has that handicap along with Penguin. It definitely makes for a very interesting relationship between these two characters, and there are some great scenes between them two where Victor really doesn't know what to think about him, and he's kind of scared every single time Penguin does something. He thinks he's going to get killed. So I'm very interested to see how Victor gets developed throughout the season. And now, one scene that really just grabbed my attention, and it's one of the first scenes of the entire show, and it legitimately leads up to the title card being played. And that's when he is talking with the brand new mob boss, Alberto Falcone, and Penguin is sitting across from him, and the facial acting was just so damn good from Colin Farrell. But really, both actors were great in the scene. Just obviously, Colin Farrell is top of the game when it comes to Penguin, right? But Alberto is just making fun of Penguin, and you just think, wow, he's just gonna let this happen, right? And then no, he just caps the guy. And then when he realizes that he just capped the mob boss, he just says the words "oh fuck." But when he says "fuck," it cuts right to the title card. That was so fucking good. So fucking good. I loved that intro to the show, to the character, and it gives you a great idea of what is going to come for this character as the season progresses. Now, one thing I'll say about Penguin, especially from the Batman movie, very subtle with the humor. I love it. But with all the drama, with all the dark and gritty aspects to not only the Batman, but this show, his humor breaks up all that with some much needed levity, and I think it comes at the perfect times. You know, one thing that you can say about Marvel is they do it wrong. They put humor in spots that don't need to have humor. They have these great moments of drama, and they just ruin it with shitty comedy. And between the Batman and then episode 1, I think they have done a great job of not dismantling any of the drama and tense moments in any of these scenes with the humor. I think it's played perfectly. And like I said, every little bit he kind of just throws it out there, and it's subtle, and it's pretty funny. Now, one thing that people are going to compare this show to, they're going to compare it to every mob show out there, the biggest one being The Sopranos. And it definitely has those Sopranos vibes, but not to the point where, like, as of right now in episode 1, like, it's not to the level of the characters of The Sopranos. Like, let's be honest, Sopranos is my favorite show of all time. You could easily say top 5 shows, objectively speaking, of all time. So I'm going to do my best not to compare this to The Sopranos. It was just like every little bit that I got those vibes. But so far, it's doing a great job of making it its own thing and not a Sopranos knockoff. But Oz does come across as calculating and manipulative, kind of like Tony Soprano. And he also has all those flaws. He's not a perfect character, you know. He has every character making fun of him, whereas Tony Soprano, everybody feared him. So it's a little bit different style of character than your typical Tony Soprano. Now, one little bit of a criticism that I have so far is this one definitely doesn't have Gotham feeling as much of a character as the Batman had it feeling. It looks like a completely different city to me, to be completely honest. Now, to be fair, a lot of episode 1 was shown in the daylight, and I think there was, 2 scenes from the Batman that was in the daylight. So comparing apples to oranges here for sure. And in the first episode, it was also not raining nearly as much as it did in the Batman. So again, apples to oranges, but I'm not really getting that sense of Gotham being its own character in the show so far. But again, it's just episode 1, but it is a little bit of a little bit of a critique that I'm going to keep my eye on. One thing that I was not prepared for, and I guess I didn't notice it or read anything about it in press releases, this is rated R stuff here. And it kind of threw me for a loop because I thought it would be kind of closer to what the Batman was. Now, granted, it's not to the point where it's kind of jarring in a sense, because it does still feel like the Batman, but its own thing at the same time. So it doesn't feel like a huge difference from the movie, but it is interesting that they're dropping F-bombs, there's nudity and violence, and I think that's really going to add to this series over the course of its 8 episodes. Now, one thing I do kind of want to just put out there, and I'm probably going to be wrong with this, okay? I don't think ultimately they're going to go down this route, but it's something that I thought about, and I just want to mention it just in case I am right. And that is, in this episode, he mentions a drug that is going to revolutionize the drug business. What if it's the drug that Batman used in the Batman, at the very end where he pulls down of his belt and then stabs his leg with it, and then he gets like rage mode, and then he gets like Royd's rage all of a sudden? I don't think they'll go down that route. But it would be an interesting twist to the season and a bridge between the 2 movies. I think that would be such a great idea if they dropped, no pun intended, the drops drug and then brought in this brand new one called Venom where everybody is going to be fucking psycho killers all of a sudden. I think that'd be cool, honestly. I don't think they're going to do it. I'd be surprised. But just something to kind of think about as we push through season 1. But yeah, guys, if you can't tell, I absolutely loved episode 1. It had my attention from beginning to end. It was not boring whatsoever, and I can't wait for the rest of the season to happen. Guys, let me know down in the comments below what you thought about episode 1. What are your theories for the rest of the season? Who's your favorite characters? Let me know down. Let me know down below. And while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps us out. But otherwise, I will catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.